Hi guys, and welcome to a new video on Sonal's life. You know what, I know it's been a while, it's been a few weeks, and I feel like I can't even give you explanation after explanation anymore. Yes, I've been very busy, so this is why the video has taken so long. And obviously, if you'd noticed, I had a haircut, and you know, there's nothing I like more than doing a brand new video when I've just had a haircut. So, why am I here with this video? I mean, once again, I hope my titles are pretty self-explanatory. We are currently in the midst of the Best of Super Junior and World Tag League tournament, which has been going amazing. I've been catching up with that. In particular, Best of Super Junior has massively impressed me. And of course, when that tournament finishes, when both of them finish, I will do my review of both of them together, maybe one each, we'll have to see. But in the midst of all that excitement, New Japan decided to throw, I won't call it a spanner, but throw us a very huge announcement in the lead up to Wrestle Kingdom. Now, obviously, we all know that once again, Wrestle Kingdom is going to be on the 4th and 5th of January at the Tokyo Dome. 2 nights. We've also got some news that whoever wins on the first night between Shingo and Okada will then go on to face Ospreay on the second night of Wrestle Kingdom. Apart from that, we don't really know what's going to be on the card, and it will definitely be revealed coming up. However, the spanner, I say, is that Wrestle Kingdom is now going to be officially, unofficially, 3 nights, with the 8th of January being held in Yokohama. It's either Yokohama Arena or Yokohama Stadium. I'll have to double check that. And at first everyone was like, this is a bit weird. We thought there was going to be this extra day. But New Japan made it a massive thing. They were like, oh yeah, we've got this new Wrestle Kingdom show, but by the way, it is going to be a collaboration with Pro Wrestling Noah. So for anyone who doesn't know what Pro Wrestling Noah is, where have you been? What have you been doing? Pro Wrestling Noah is another company in Japan. People like Kenta all came from there. You've got guys like Marufuji, Keiji Muto, Kaito Kiyomiya, and people like that. Huge names are in Noah. And although I don't watch it religiously and as much as I want to, since they have a joint partnership with DDT and Tokyo Joshi on the Wrestle Universe, I have managed to catch up with some shows. So basically there was a big press conference where the two heads of both companies sat down and explained that on the 8th of January there is going to be a New Japan Wrestle Kingdom show joint with Noah, and it is going to be for charity. So one of the first things that a lot of people were surprised about, and we need to clear up, is how it's going to work. We all know that Wrestle Kingdom is streamed on New Japan World live with English commentary. This is not going to be the case. Obviously, Noah and New Japan have their own streaming sites. However, because they said that this is also going to be a charity event for the Red Cross in Japan, it is going to be put on a natural broadcaster or a neutral broadcaster. I think it's a Beamer TV, and you are able to buy it as a pay-per-view show. However, it will be available with commentary on VOD on New Japan World, I think a week after. Now, this says, some people have had iffy thoughts about this. They think it's a bit unfair that people who have the subscription cannot watch it live. But considering that is a joint show, no one streaming site should get priority, and also it's for charity, so it's a very nice thing. So like I said, they had a very nice press conference. There was videos and VCRs from all the biggest stars from each brand. So for New Japan, we had Okada, Shingo, Tanahashi, and then, but Tanahashi was in the actual press conference, and then we might have had a few more, but I can't remember. It was a very long time ago. And for Noah, we had Keiji Muto, Nakajima, maybe Go Shizuaki, probably not. I'm just throwing names. We had some huge names, and then for their representative at the press conference, it was Kaito Kiyomiya. Now, this is a big thing because since 2020, Kiyomiya, who if you don't know is basically like the golden boy of Noah, like very handsome as well, basically said, I want a match with Okada, who is seen as the golden boy of New Japan. If anyone says who was the reason behind this show, you could say it was Kiyomiya. So basically, they all appeared on the screen saying what they thought of the show, if there was anyone that they wanted to face. And what it seems is this is going to be a battle of pride, like brand pride. You know, like you see it in the US, you see it with WWE when they have like SmackDown versus Raw. It's very similar to that. These are two companies who I would say probably two of the biggest wrestling companies in Japan. Very different styles. And in the past, they did used to have collaborative shows. We know that, especially in tournaments like the G1 and Best of Super Junior, they would have wrestlers come. And that included the massive King of Pro Wrestling show between Okada and Marufuji. And it was a huge thing. With so many huge names and really so many like rivalries that date back like decades, I think with everything going on in the world, a joint show between Noah and New Japan is one of the best things that can happen. And I think there have been a lot of criticisms for New Japan since the pandemic started. Obviously, we've had a lack of Gaijin stars or a lack of sort of surprises when it comes to the show due to these restrictions. By having a joint Noah and New Japan show, it is sort of pushing aside all of those like company and like rivalries, because of course there's going to be a battle of brand supremacy, but at the end of the day, these people all have a common love of pro wrestling. And obviously when something like this happens, the big thing is dream matches. Now, I've done a full article on dream matches and that will be coming out on Wrestle Talk, but personally for me, there are quite a few matches I really want to see, and this is based on the fact that the few Noah matches I've watched have been amazing. Now, I know Kiyomiya has stated like he wants to wrestle Okada, like that's his goal, and with two of the top names in both companies, I don't see that not happening. However, from what I've watched of Kiyomiya since I first found him, and actually funny things, I saw him on TikTok first. So I knew about him, but then he appeared on TikTok, and that was when Noah sort of joined with DDT, and I was like, I can finally watch it. I would personally, and obviously this depends on his state of injury, I would have loved to have seen Kiyomiya versus Ibushi. Now, for anyone who doesn't really know Kiyomiya's style, it's a bit like Ibushi, I'd say. Like, they are very agile, athletic men, have traces of junior heavyweight in them. However, they have this power and striking ability. Like, I think it is, like, it's crazy because they are probably the perfect definition of, like, a hybrid athlete. Also, like, I know Kiyomiya and Okada would be a handsome battle, but oh my god, can you imagine those two in the ring? It would mainly just be a battle of whose hair is in a better condition at the end of the match. That would be a difficult one. Another one, well, I've talked about some of these guys have long history. Well, what could be better than giving Kenta versus Marufuji? Now, for anyone who hasn't seen the announcement, basically at the start of January, Kenta is going back to Noah for a special show, which I think is proving that there is going to be a hopefully long-standing relationship between the two brands. But they have wrestled countless times. They have wrestled together, so they were the GHC Junior Tag Champions at one point in their career. I think they were actually the first Junior Tag Champions in Noah. And they, as well as knowing each other so well, you can see the mirror image in their styles. Of course, Kenta is now Bullet Club and can be a bastard sometimes. That's just Kenta. But they have a mix of strikes, submissions, sort of like a bit more of a ground-based offense compared to some of the other guys in the division. And I think with this new, I wouldn't say like a new willingness to break the rules, because I think Kenta has always had some of that in him. But this new personality and charisma, especially if the show has got a majority New Japan crowd, it'll be interesting to see how the dynamic works. Will Marufuji still be the babyface? Will Kenta sort of forget his Bullet Club roots in New Japan and go back to the Kenta that many people remember from Noah? It's an interesting thought, but a match I'd really love to see. In particular, what I find quite interesting, Nakajima is obviously the champion of Noah, and Shingo is the champion of New Japan. Now, in the interview that they did, basically Shingo went, I have faced Nakajima twice in my career. Very early on, and then once in 2010. Both times Shingo lost. Wouldn't Wrestle Kingdom be the perfect chance for Shingo to show just how much he's grown? For me, a match like this has the possibility to steal the show. Yes, there is not, like the long history like Kenta and Marufuji, but sometimes when you've had two losses against one person, but you've come leaps and bounds like Shingo has to become the ace of the company, sorry Tanahashi, it will be the perfect proving ground for Shingo. He has beaten pretty much every guy in New Japan, every guy that has beaten him in the past. Maybe now it's time to go back and showcase just how much he's grown from these matches. And one final match, which I don't know whether it'll happen or not, it's one that Tanahashi actually said he wanted. So he said something about in the past, and I can't remember the time exactly, that he and Keiji Muto had a huge one-on-one singles match. Two of the veterans in the industry. Since Keiji Muto decided to sign with Noah, which was a huge shock for everyone, the idea of having Tanahashi versus Keiji Muto at Wrestle Kingdom in 2021, well, sorry, actually it'll be 2022, seems like something that nobody could ever imagine. But can you imagine, like, the reaction of the crowd when it happens? Two guys who are so loved, who have put their bodies, their hearts and souls on the line for the business that they love. That will definitely be a matchup worth watching. And yes, both guys have had wear and tear. When you watch Tanahashi in the ring, he's not as clean, and I worry when he runs because of his knees, but he can still put on like main event standard matches, 5-star matches. Same with Keiji Muto. Came back, won the GHC Heavyweight Championship at his age, putting on an amazing match. Who says that Muto versus Tanahashi won't be the main event? Won't have the ability to make history by showcasing two guys who, yes, are maybe past their prime, but are still going at top level. Like, they are like the dads of pro wrestling in Japan, and they are still working it. Obviously, that's just 4 dream matches I've spoken about, and that's only 4 sets of wrestlers. There are so many guys in Noah and in New Japan that will put on amazing matches and really showcase this battle of pride. I'm going to take into consideration what gaijins are going to be in New Japan for Wrestle Kingdom. So JY, Juice Robinson, guys like that, who will easily showcase themselves against another brand. Because at the end of the day, yes, guys like Jay might be heels and have their complaints about New Japan and how the system's rigged. But especially with Jay, New Japan is his home. It's where he was made as a wrestler, and it'd be nice to see. There's also guys like Hayata, Go Shizuaki, and people like that. Guys in New Japan, Naito, Sanada, Hiromu, Suzuki. So many amazing wrestlers who could really put on an amazing showcase at Wrestle Kingdom. And honestly, as someone who is opening their mind to different Japanese wrestling, this show seems like the perfect place for me to add yet another wrestling company to my schedule, which seems full enough as it is with just 3 companies. But yeah, that's sort of what's been happening in New Japan. Like, New Japan don't want to give us enough to do. Like, by the way, Best of Super Junior, World Tag League, we're going to get you ready for Wrestle Kingdom. BAM! Let's give you a joint show with Noah. I'm really excited for it, and I want to know what you guys think. Do any of you watch Noah religiously, or are you like me that you just dabble in it? Are there any dream matches that you want to see, or dream matches that maybe are a bit underrated? Because I know everyone has this idea, like Kiyomiya Okada, Marufuji Kenta. Is there any random pairing that you think in reality probably shouldn't work, but could potentially steal the show? Make sure to let me know in the comments below. Follow me on social media at wrestling_chat and tweet me your suggestions there. We are actually on the road to Wrestle Kingdom now, which is very exciting for me. And I'm going to make sure I will be back with more constant videos. We've got a lot coming up. So, like I said, final of Best of Super Junior World Tag League, road to Wrestle Kingdom, and then Wrestle Kingdom. So make sure to keep an eye on this channel. Make sure to share it with your friends, because hopefully, come Wrestle Kingdom, I will do so much content. You guys will be able to interact with me, and we can just make this channel grow even more. And I have a new sign here. So subscribe to Sonal's Life. I mean, that really didn't work, but subscribe to Sonal's Life, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!